Okay, let's see how long it takes us and see if we can do a Musar also. Okay, we're at the Mishnah on Chaf Amud Aleph. Last block. I don't think we're going to get to a Siyum today for those. I know we can't make a Siyum if Peretz is driving, so we'll have to leave the last Gemara for tomorrow. Okay, so Zog the Mishnah, yeah, Chaf Amud Aleph. I appreciate everybody tuning in early. Okay, it's a Matzah Igros Shum. So if you find letters of
John,
Shum,
one
Shum
second. Do
means
we have a head to all come back at 8:30 just to hang out so we don't get away with it? Everybody thinks we're learning at 8:30.
100%. You say you're doing a daf in person tonight and then get out of the house.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah, now I don't know if Gershon's smoking outside, the smoke coming out of his mouth is from the cold or from his cigarettes. On the normal night, it's hard to tell. Today, it's really, during daylight, it's really hard to tell. Anyways.
It's both.
Both, huh? Am I good? Did he lose me? Good? Okay. Matzah Igros Shum. So let's say you find letters of Shum, of evaluation. Meaning when a loiva defaults on a loan, so they have to evaluate how much his land is worth in order for them to repossess. The Igros Mazon and letters of food, which is that when the husband has to pay for his wife's daughter, a wife brings in a daughter to marriage, so the husband has to pay for the daughter. So there's a court documents how much he has to pay. Stare chalitza mianun, and then a star for chalitza and mian. Chalitza, we know what that is. That the woman did chalitza, and mian is when a girl gets married off by her. She loses her father, so her brother and her mother marry her off, and then she wants out of the marriage. So she could just walk out, but she needs to have a star that she legally walked out. The star berurin. I hope people don't know what a star berurin is, but a star berurin is well, there's two options. Either it's a star that where each side says their side of the argument, or it's when each side picks a dayan and then the dayanim pick a third. Right? That's star berurin. B'chol ma'aseh bezdin, and then all ma'aseh bezdin. Right? So meaning anything that has to do with bezdin, these are all things from bezdin. I raise a yafsi, then you give it back. That's the rule. Right? Since it was given out by bezdin, so then it's considered like vadai, and you can give it to whichever party is supposed to be having it. Meaning, it's the girl is having chalitza, so you give it to her, or the wife is having chalitza, or you give it to the girl with miyan, or etc. etc. Fine. Matzah chafisa, ibedeluskama. So the Gemara is going to say what those are, but basically, if you find the shtar in a chafisa is like a flask. He has it hidden in a flask, right? Or a dluskama is like a junk, you have things that you keep all your junk in it. So you find it in there. Or another case, tachrus shel shtaris means a bundle of, meaning wrappings of shtaris, which we'll see in the Gemara what that is. Ayagudah shel shtaris, or also a bundle of shtaris. We'll see again the Gemara what the difference is between a tachrus and an agudah. Or is a yatsis, so then you have to give it back. You also give it back. Right? So what does it mean you give it back to who? So to whoever gives you the simon of what it is. That's what Rashi says. And what's considered a bundle of shtaris? It has to be three shtaris tied up with each other. If you have a bundle of three shtaris, right, and each star has the same loiva in it, right? It has the same loiva, but different borrowers from different people that he borrowed. So then clearly this thing belongs to the loiva, right? Three shtaris, each one has the same borrower, but different lenders. So then give it back to the loiva, because clearly they fell from him. And the opposite, shloisha halavin min ha'echad, and if you have three people that borrowed from one, meaning the shtaris all have the same lender, then yachzil l'malva, gives it back to, you have to give it back to the malva. Matzah shtar ben shtaroisa. And the last case is if you find a shtar in between your shtaris, yeah. And he doesn't know what he finds the shtar amongst the stars, but he doesn't know what the story is. He should leave it until Elio comes, meaning he shouldn't give it to either to the malve or to the loiva. And if he has a sampun is a receipt. That's if he has a receipt with them, then yasema sampunas, then do he should do whatever it says in the receipt. Meaning, if the receipt said that it was paid, then it's considered paid, and if not, not. There's a lot of cases in this, mission, but we'll see as we go through the Gemara what they are. Okay, so my story berurin. What are story berurin? Right, which literally means star that has to do with clarification. Here they explain it, meaning in Bavel they explain it that it means a star of the tinus. What do they call it in law? What do they call this? A legal brief, maybe? Something like that. The legal brief that you're letting each side know what the story is. This one chooses one for himself, and this one chooses one for himself, and then they get a third dayan. Fine. All Ma'aseh Bezdin he gives back. Fine. There was a get that they found. This is very interesting here. This is for Gershon. It's the exact same Gemara in the same spot on the Gemara, and on Amud Beis the same. If Anrab Dailam remembers it, I don't remember what daf it was. Hold on, what was it? Yud Ches. 2 blot ago, exactly 2 blot ago, the same exact Gemara, Mamish in the same spot on the daf. Yeah. So who gita the shtaka peidina de Rav Huna? There was a get that was found by the Bezdin of Rav Huna. Tavaksibe b'shviri masa the arachis nara. It was found in the town of Shviri, which was on the river Rachis, the river that was called Rachis. Right? We said that the Olam said the story from not the Greenblatt. Right? That what do you call it? A river. You're always supposed to write a river in the get. And Rav Nato established in a lot of cities in the United States which rivers are the ones that are supposed to be named in the get. Oh, Rachamim, I just quoted you, and now you just popped on. Yeah. Yeah. So b'shviri matzah arachos nara. So Amar Huna Antam Beizna Hashina l'shnei shviri. We're chayshish for two shviri. Meaning we're chayshish that there were 2 towns of shviris, and Memela you don't give the get back, because how do you know that this is the proper get, right? So Amar Rav Chisda l'Rabba, so Rav Chisda l'Rabba, Puk ayin, go out and look into this. The Lord to buy Rav Huna mina. Rav Huna is going to ask this shaila from you tonight. Rabba looked into it. No, fuck that. He went out and he looked for Atik and he found the Tanan. All my Bezdin, Hareze Yafer, all my Bezdin, you are go back. So you see that Rav Huna didn't want to give the get. He didn't want them to give the get there. But came Rabba, and Rabba said no. Any Maisa Bezdin, is that, can you hear me, or is that announcement bothering? Oh, I thought that my thing was on noise cancel.
You're good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so again, Rav Huna wanted to say don't give back the get because we have to be cautious. There's 2 cities with the same name. Again, it has to be 2 cities with the same name, 2 people with the same name, and the Aiden with the same name. That was the sugi 2 blot ago. And then Rabba said, no, if it's a Maisa Bezdin, then it doesn't go. Right? Fine. So Rav Amram l'Rabba, Hechi Pashat Mari Surah Mimamayna. So Rav Amram asked Rabba, you can't say pshat from a financial contract to a marriage contract. Meaning, by a financial contract, we're saying, okay, it said an IOU and it came from Bezdin, so therefore you're going to give it back because it's a finance thing. But then you want to learn out from that maybe you're going to allow an Ashes Ish? Right? You can't do that. Mammon is not nearly as strict as Isser. So Amalei, so he said back to him, this is one of these Gemaras that makes you wonder. So Tarda, he called him a Tarda, which Rashi says is he's a Meshugana. He told him you're a Meshugana, right? He asked him this kasha, that how do you compare a financial psak to a marriage psak? And he told him back, he's a Meshugana. The Shtari Chalita Miyanam, because the Mishnah says, our Mishnah that says this rule, that anything coming out of Bezdin goes back to whoever it is, to the whoever gives the siman, right? And then it says chalitza and miyun, that's marriage. So this din, that's something that comes out from Bezdin, goes back to the rightful owner, applies to both money and isurim. So then what happened? Paka arza the beirav, the arza, the what do you call it? The cedar, the amud that was holding up the bismerish, meaning the what do you call it? The pillar, right? Paka arza the beirav. Mar Amar. So one said mishum l'sai didi paka. Because of my luck, that's why it split. Meaning because Rav who is it? Rav Amram? Yeah, Rav Amram said this kasha. Rabba called him a meshugana, and he said because of my covet, that's why it broke. And Mar Amar mishum l'sai didi paka. And Rav Amram and the other one, yeah, that's around, right? No, 1 second. I think I mixed it up. No, Rav Amram said Mishum L'Saydidi. Right. Rav Amram has the kasha, and Rav Amram said that the reason why it busted is because I was embarrassed, because I was insulted. And Mar Amar and Rabba said Mishum L'Saydidi Paka, because Rav Amram asked the kasha on me, but Rabbim, I said a psak. Rav Amram asked it on me, so he embarrassed me. I mean, it sounds like both of them have a taina why they were embarrassed. Rav Amram because Rabba called him a name, and Rabba was embarrassed because Rav Amram asked him a kasha. So each one said it was for their covet that it split, right? Yeah, fine. The article I was looking through, the article brings a marsha. I didn't look at the marsha, but the article brings a marsha that says that they weren't saying that it's because of them. They weren't trying to prove themselves with it. They were just saying a statement, right? That it was because of them. They weren't trying to say, you see, I'm right. Okay, fine. So that's interesting Gemara. Fine. Matzah b'chfisa b'dluskama. So if they found in a chafisa dluskama, what is that? My chafisa. Amar Rabba bar Barchana, chamas katana. It's a small flask. So they found this document in the small flask. My dluskama. Amar Rabba bar Shmuel, tlika desabi. It's like it's like you know what we were talking about in the morning share. You know, like they took the coffee cans. The elderly used to take the coffee cans and put all their pens and their junk in there. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sure everybody here knows that. We're old enough here that we know what that is, right? So yeah, so they stored their stuff in there, and then you look in there and say, hey, there's a check, or there's a document in there. So that's what it means. Fine. Tachlus shel shtaros, agudas shel shtaros. Right? There's a bundle of shtaros and a bundle of shtaros. They both seem to mean the same thing. So what is it? What is considered? How many are in a bundle? So it's 3 rolled together. I actually have 2 Megillas in my carry-on. I'm bringing one. I have my own and somebody else. I was wondering to wrap it up into one. I was thinking today's stuff to wrap up two Megillas, one into the other, right? Because that's what it means. That means 3 that are knotted together. Now that has to be some sort of siman, right? So shamas minot kesher siman. Are you trying to say that a knot is a siman? If throughout Elu Metzias, we're going to see whether a knot, whether the way somebody ties something, can that be considered a siman that you give it back to him? Right? So shamas minot kesher siman. That's what it seems to say. So hatani Rav shloisha kruchim zebazeh. It says 3 are rolled together, meaning there was no knots. Meaning normally you keep them all rolled up together, and here it seems like the way I understood it is they rolled them one into the other. So that would be a siman. The iyachi hainu tachrif, but that sounds like that's the same thing as wrapping. So tachrif, so the Gemara answers tachrif kol chad b'chad b'roish dechavris. Oh, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, I jumped the gun. Tachrif, each and every one is wrapped into the top of the other one. Meaning you rolled one, then you rolled another one, and then you rolled another one on top of it. That's tachrich. Aguda is the ramu adadi. They put one on top of the other, ukruchos, and then roll together. Meaning, you could just lay out the 3 documents and roll it together, or you could have one rolled up and then roll the one around it and then roll another one around that. I guess those would be simonim. Okay, my machas. So what do you call out? Meaning, when we're going to see in Elam Metzia that you have to announce when you find something, so you have to announce it. So what does he announce? Right? Meaning, you don't tell him exactly what it is, because then you can't trust whoever hears it. Right? So what you do is you just give some sort of simon. So what are you announcing here by the shtaros? So say minyan. You say the amount of shtaros. You say, I found 3 shtaros. Then the guy's gonna have to come and tell you, how was it wrapped. You say, how was it wrapped? He's gotta say over correctly which way it was wrapped. Yeah. Right. So my area tlasa. What why 3? Afilu tren nami. So then 2 also. Meaning, why do you have to have this whole din? It sounds like there's only 3 daughters. What about 2? Ella kedama Ravina. Ravina says, Haba machas. The one who when you have coins, your machris, you just say, I found coins. Again, this is all a prelude to Elam Metzia. Achanami shtari machris. You just say, I found shtaros. So now the Gemara's Havamina was that you say how many shtaros you found. So then you could say 2 or 3. It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be dafka 3. Right? So what is it? So you're saying, no, that can't be. So what you do is you just say, I found, the same way if you found money, you just say, I found some coins, and then the person has to tell you what was lost. So the same thing here is you shtari machris. You just say how many shtaros. You just say what shtaros you found, and then the person will have to claim them. Claim how many. Fine. So Shimon Gamliel says, if you find a bunch of shtaros together, and it's one loiva, it's one borrower, and different lenders, then clearly you give it to the lender, right? These are that the malvin, because if you say that they go to the malva, my bo gabia dadi. What are they doing by? If you give it to the malva, why? There's 3 different malvas here and all the same loiva. Why would you give it to the malva? So the Gemara says, well, no, dilma l'kiyuminu azli. Maybe they were going to be Mekayim them in the Bezdin. Right? Meaning, let's say all 3 guys were going together, all 3 lenders were going together, all 3 malvas were going together to the Bezdin to get Bezdin to confirm. Right? And then they lost it. The Gemara says, the Mekayim, we're talking about a star that was already Mekuyim, so you can't say that's what went on. Okay, the Gemara asks, Dilma miyada the suffer nafel. Maybe it fell from the hands of the cipher, right? Maybe the cipher, and when he wrote them, then he was writing 3 different shtaros for the same loiva, and then it fell from him, and really it should go to the malva. So nobody is leaving a star to be mekuyim in the cipher's hands. Meaning the Gemara is thinking that he left the star by the cipher in order, and then he'll take it straight from the cipher to the bezdin to confirm it. And the Gemara is saying that's not a chashash. Nobody would do that. Nobody would trust the cipher. I don't know why nobody would trust the cipher, but nobody trusts the cipher. Fine. The Gemara says shloisha shel, then the opposite case. Shloisha shelavu me'echad yafsil malva. So 3 that borrow from 1, you give it back to the malva. These are that the lavaninu, because if you say that it goes to the ones that borrowed, my bo gabi adadi, why do you have 3 shtaros from 3 different borrowers and 1 lender? Doesn't make sense, right? So the Gemara answers, ugly. No, maybe they were same shakvatai as before. Maybe they're going to write the shtaros, right? And then it got lost. So he says, Akiva is not on, right? Is it Akiva on? No, okay. It's talking about where it was written in 3 different handwritings. So here it's Mashma Gershon, right? Now, I don't know if they wrote shtaros in Ksav. I don't think they did, right? A couple of days ago, we were having this machloikis, whether Gittin, can you if a get is like a standard handwriting, and if it's possible to tell the difference of one cipher and another. So here, clearly, Gemara is saying it was written in 3 different handwritings, but we're not talking about a get here. We're talking about IOUs, right? Okay, so then Gemara says the Dilma L'Kiyim was maybe they were going to get them certified, as they call certified, confirmed, whatever, by Bezdin. He says, Malva Mekayim Shtari, Loiva Loy Mekayim Shtari. A Malva is Mekayim Shtar. A Loiva is not Mekayim Shtar. Right? Meaning we don't go with, meaning why would a Loiva ever want his Shtar to be confirmed by Bezdin? It's a weaker Shtar. Which again, I don't understand that. Again, the Gemara is saying a Malva is the only one that would ever go bring a Shtar to get confirmed, not a Loiva. I don't understand. Are we not talking about Erlich people?
We are. It's his field.
What?
It's his field to get it McLean.
Who? The Malva. Well, it's his chiyuv to get it. But fine, but that's not the way the Gemara is saying. Malva Mekayim Shtari, Loy Mekayim Shtari. Right? I mean, if you know that the Malva is not doing it, you're an Erlich guy, wouldn't you go? You don't want to make sure you pay back your loan?
I'm an Erlich guy. It doesn't matter to me.
Why would it help? You bring it to Bezdin, Bezdin confirms the shtar.
You don't need it to be Mikoyan. I'm going to pay it.
You mean Stam doesn't want it because he's not paying it yet? He's not paying it. The loan is not due for another year.
Well, if he's Erlich, he's going to be Moda. If he's Erlich, he's going to be Moda anyway.
I hear, but maybe the guy is not going to have. You're right. I hear that. So you're saying he's not Erlich, he's saying. He's saying I'm right, that he's not Erlich.
The Malva wants a good start. The Leiva, Mimonov doesn't care.
I hear. I don't know. Okay. I mean, it's a Balabati Shikasha anyway, so. Okay, let's do a few more lines. And Yeshime, should we do it? It's a bunch of kashas. It's a bunch of kashas that are going to be. Okay, let's start it. Yeah. Maybe not. Hold on. Let me just check. Yeah. Okay. Let's do a few more minutes. So, right? So if he finds these receipts in his property, so then he should do whatever it says in the receipts. If you have a receipt that comes out from the Malva's hand, right? Meaning they found the receipt by the Malva, not by the Loiva. Now a receipt shouldn't be by the Malva, right? A guy lent somebody money, the guy paid him back, and the Malva gives him a receipt that it was paid. That receipt belongs by the Loiva. What's it doing by the Malva? Right? So Yirmiyama says, M'shem Rav, that if there's a receipt found by the Malva, even if it's written in the Loiva's handwriting, it's a joke. Right? Puzzle, and it's puzzle. The receipt is no good, and therefore he could still go back and collect. Right? He could still go back and collect from the Loiva, right? Yeah. If the receipt is no good, yeah, so he's still gonna have to pay it because if he has the receipt, you don't give it to the Loiva, right? So then he's gonna have to pay. Then he'll have to pay, right? So again, Rav Yirmiyah is saying that if there's a receipt found by the Malva, it's worthless. So the Gemara says, "Loimi by kosa b'ksav yad sofer." It doesn't. We don't have to tell you that if it's written in the ksav yad of a sofer, the ikal meimar, you'd say that safra is rami le b'kosav, because he happened to have found a sofer and he said to himself, "Oh, I have a sofer here. Let him pre-print the receipt. So like this, when the guy pays me back the loan, I could just give him the receipt." Even if it's written in the ksav yad of the lender of the malva, it's puzzle. Davar, because he thought Dilma Misrami Vasi Ben Hashmashas, maybe this guy's going to pay back the loan Ben Hashmashas. Kaparali, and he's going to want to pay me bein hashmashos. And and if I don't give him a receipt, lo yav lizuz, he's not going to give me money. Meaning, this guy may show up in hashmashos, right? If he shows up in hashmashos and he has the money, I'm going to take that money from him. The problem is he's not going to give me the money unless I have a receipt. So I might as well have a receipt printed and ready to roll, right? So let me write a receipt now. I see lizuzi. When he brings me money, then I'll have the receipt. I'll give it to him, right? Meaning, so Mamela, just because the malva has the receipt, doesn't mean that it was legit. So therefore, in Mamela, since the malva is holding the receipt, that means it was never given to the loiva. The reason why he didn't give it to the loiva is because the loiva taka never paid. Right? Meaning, we're saying basically what the Gemara is saying is that when the loiva, when you have the receipt is by the malva, so then we're gonna say that the loan still was not paid because maybe the malva wrote the receipt because he just had that opportunity to write the receipt and to keep it just in case the guy pays. Now, again, this sounds like a far-fetched situation. Right, the guy wrote pre-printed a receipt in case the fellow comes to pay him back bein hashmashos Shabbos, which is also an interesting thing because it's bein hashmashos. It doesn't say before shkia. It says bein hashmashos. The guy's giving him back his money, and he wants to make sure that he has the receipt. Right, so we say that that's not the case. Okay.
Didn't you tell us a story once where somebody paid back before Yontif with checks that bounced because he wanted them not to be worried in Yontif that they won't have the money? He didn't have the money. Some Rebbe or something.
I don't remember. Yeah, that's it. That sounds familiar.
He paid back before Pesach, and he knew the checks. And afterwards, he gave them another check. He didn't want them to be nervous on Pesach or something. I remember you saying something like that.
I could be. I don't remember, of course. Okay, we'll stop over here. Let's say it till him.